Manchester United 5, Lyon 4. We are through to the semi-finals of the Europa League. What a crazy match. Insane match. Amazing comeback by Manchester United and Ruben Amorim after what looked like we absolutely blew it. Many things to get into. We're going to do live player ratings, so make sure you get involved in the chat and stick around for the live player ratings. But, I mean, that game was absolutely impossible. We never do it. We never do it the easy way. We never ever do it the easy way. I mean, the second half was a totally different story than the first half. The first half, we were in control of the game. We played very well. We deserved to get the game over the line until we came out in the second half. And the second half, we lost momentum. We just lost control of the game. And we certainly blew it at one point. But typical of Manchester United's history, and what this club has been through, we left it very late, and we made it very great. Just a quick statistic for that. I think Manchester United has made history as the first team to score 2 goals in the 120th minute of a match in a European competition. That's never been done before. So there's that. But we're going to get into the match. We're going to break it down because there's a lot of things. I mean, this match was a roller coaster of emotions, if you know that, and I feel like that's an understatement to say, but there's a lot of things that we got to get into about this match. So please smash that like button. Axe Lord is going crazy in the chat right now. I think he's over the moon. Ray's in here as well. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a good show for some good opinions. Let me just sort some things out here real quick. But yeah, I'll give my two cents on the match, I guess, and then we'll break it down even further. Listen, the first half, again, we did very well. We started strong. We played very good. We were the better team. And we played some good football. And we got 2 good goals. The first goal, very good passage of play. I think probably the overall theme of today, I will have to say, is that we need more of the first goal. The first transition of goal that happened between Dalot, Bruno, and Garnacho to Ugarte. We need more of that. We need more team play. We need more of those passes into the box, that pass from Garnacho. And you know what? It's a bit of a sour taste because I can't say other than that moment Garnacho did it again. He was very selfish once again. Was quite bothersome for me today. I would have pulled him off at some point. Ruben Amorim did not pull him off. Can't tell you why unless he's asked that question. I would like to get his thoughts as to why he didn't do it. But yeah, I mean, he's very frustrating because I think Garnacho can be a very important and good player, but he needs to pass the ball, and there's a missing chemistry link between him and Rasmus. He doesn't want to give Rasmus the ball. He doesn't. I don't know what it is. I can't tell you what it is. But we'll get into the players a little bit more specifically a little bit later into the show. Let's talk about the general team. The second half, we came out and we kind of just stalled. Now, Ruben had a decision to make. We had a big argument, me and my father. My father wanted subs at 60 minutes, and I said, I'm not completely opposed against that, but I can also understand, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But then we conceded the goal, right? And we go 2-1 down. Now, in my opinion, I still think that, the players are on the pitch. You have a job to manage the game. You should have what is arguably, barring a couple players, 2 or 3 players, what's your strongest team that you could field for 90 minutes. They should be able to manage the game 2-0 up at home. And they weren't able to do that. And they capitulated, and we conceded 4. Not even 2. We conceded 4 at home. But, you know, we get into extra time. We give away a penalty. You think the game is done and dusted. And we do what Manchester United has done multiple times in their history. And found just some miracle way of scoring 2 goals. Kobbie Mainoo with a fantastic goal and Harry Maguire coming up as the hero. You know, people photoshopping the Ballon d'Or with him in a suit. So I think it's well deserved for him. And you know, they have done what we asked them to do. I'm very happy for Kobbie. I'm very happy for Maguire. You know, Maguire's come a long way from the times of being absolutely obliterated from the entire fan base to now he's going to be the hero. But again, I think at least on this show, we've been pretty fair to Maguire and we've been praising him last season and even this season. And I do rate him, and we've praised him for his character, for sticking through some really tough times and coming out on the other end of it. And this is what happens. You just need to perform and you will get praised. And sometimes it's not necessarily your fault, but sometimes, you know, you just need to stop talking and do it on the pitch. And I think this is the way things work. Maguire doesn't get hate anymore. Maguire gets praise, and Maguire's going to get absolute praise today, as he should, because he got the winner. But he's been a valued and strong player for us over these past 2 seasons. You know, he's been his best since we signed him. So he does deserve his praise. Lots of people joining. Axe is in here. Axe has absolutely just demolished the chat. He's going crazy. He's saying "Viva la vida loca." Ray has questions about Ruben and Ruben Amorim's decisions. Fair enough. We're gonna get into all of that. Ray says, "Don't be happy. We shit still sinks from the head." Well, we can be happy because we won, and that's the most important thing. And, you know, at the end of the day, listen, we're not perfect. We weren't what we wanted to. We weren't perfect. Again, I keep saying this. We're not the finished article. We're nowhere near it. We have a lot of room for improvement, and we're going to have to make that improvement sooner or later. But we're certainly a work in progress. And you know what? I give a lot of credit to the team because at some point somewhere they wouldn't have made this comeback. So you know what, there is something there in the team to work with. There is something there in the team to make improvements on. There is something there that is of positivity in Manchester United. It's not all negative. There are things that are bad, and there are things that need to be sorted out to get us to the level that we want to get out, and we're going to have to answer those questions sooner or later. And, you know, for the manager's sake, it's going to have to be sooner rather than later because, you know, you're going to run out of time to do so. But there are positives in there. I don't think this team would have done that previously in other moments. For them to be able to dig deep and, you know, we were down a man, we were up a man, so it was easier. It wasn't like it was 11v11, but we went down 2 goals. Up a man. So for us to figure that out and get over the line, they do deserve praise. But there's aspects in this team that obviously just aren't good enough, and they're going to have to be sorted out as we move forward. Axe saying Lord Harry Maguire, and Axe says how MAINOO came in. Unbelievable. Everyone wants to be my enemy. Axe says my father woke up just an extra time. He was like, I know this team so well. I wake up just in time. Ray says the left side was shit all game, and he kept them in till the 99 minutes to change it. He did. I don't think Dorgu didn't have a very good game. He wasn't good the entire time he was on the pitch. He seemed very lost. Garnacho, you can make an argument for Garnacho in one hand. You can make an argument against Garnacho. Garnacho, listen, he's a player that gets on the ball. He drives. He's threatening attacking wise, but he's wasteful and he's selfish. And that's his downfall, and that's his kryptonite. Because for me, Dorgu just wasn't in the game. And I would have subbed him off, and I would have subbed off Garnacho at one point because he really pissed me off with the decisions that he's making, taking shots from ridiculous angles, not trying to give the ball to Rasmus once again. And, you know, just on Rasmus, I think Rasmus didn't have a bad game today. I think Rasmus, in terms of holding the ball up, being an outlet, making passes, getting the ball under control. He was quick with the passes. When he received it, he was quick in returning the ball and moving the play and keeping the flow going. But I felt like today was one of those matches where Rasmus was in good positions. He made some good runs, but they don't give him the ball and they don't give him the opportunities. And as a striker, I don't understand how Rasmus is necessarily supposed to have this great game that everybody wants him to have when he doesn't get the ball. And I think you've seen that in his frustration. He kicked the post. He's screaming at his teammates more so than he's done in the past. And rightfully so. I actually, you know, I felt bad in an aspect, but I was happy to see him do that because I think in past matches, I think he's been a little bit too quiet. And I think he needs to be more demanding. And I think he needs to be more in their face. I think he needs to make them understand that you have to give me the fucking ball in certain positions. Whether you trust me or not, I am on the pitch. I am the striker. And you have to give me the opportunity to at least fuck it up. And they're not even doing that much. So I don't think what we've seen from Rasmus over this season, I don't think was more like what we've seen where he wasn't holding the ball up. It wasn't good play. He was struggling all over the pitch. I don't think that's what we saw from him today. I think he was actually fairly decent. He did as much as he could do, but in my opinion, when you're not receiving the ball in positions, no matter what striker you put there, they're not going to score a goal. They're not going to score a goal. Now, I know there's somebody out there ready to make an argument that Kobbie Mainoo scored a goal playing in striker position, but I mean, the circumstances were a little different. Kobbie didn't do anything up until that goal. You know, and it was more of the same. Kobbie wasn't receiving balls just like Rasmus wasn't receiving balls, but Kobbie did very well inside the box, and that's why Rasmus has to stick in the box. A problem that Rasmus has is he gets very frustrated because he's not getting the ball. He's flying all over the pitch, and he's going out of position. And that's because his teammates aren't giving him the ball, but he needs to stay there because that ball will fall to him like it fell to Kobbie Mainoo because Kobbie was there, and it's a little bit of luck, but it's there, and you make something happen out of the chance you're given. There wasn't a crazy passage of play for Kobbie to score that goal. It was good positioning. He was there at the right time, and then he did what he needed to do to make it happen. And Rasmus can't do that if he's all over the pitch and then he's not in the position where the ball falls there. So Warren G says, guys, how's everyone doing? That was a birthday gift for me. Well, happy birthday, Warren J. And that is probably a fantastic birthday present. I don't think, you might get a Lamborghini. I don't know. But I don't know if you could get some I don't think you could get many better birthday presents than that. One of our best comebacks in the club's history. Now, obviously, I'm not going to say it's better than 99 because we won the treble. We only advanced to the semifinals, so let's not take it that far. But in terms of the fact that we were down 2 goals and we managed to score 2 quick ones to go through and advance and keep the season alive and keep the hope of winning Europa League, it was. And the fact that no other team in a European competition has scored 2 goals, and we made history in that fact. It is definitely a big one. I need everybody to get involved. Get in the live chat. We want to hear from you, whether you're new, you're old, you've been here, you haven't been here before. Get involved. Everybody has a say here. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. We want to hear all your opinions. We want to hear how you're feeling. And I need you to smash that like button as well. Get those likes up because it helps our channel. So please help us out. And if you don't do it for the channel, then do it for Kobbie, do it for Maguire, do it for Ruben, do it for whoever you want, do it for Manchester United. Smash that like button if you're happy that we got the win today. We're gonna do live player ratings. We're gonna get in there. I'm trying to get to the chat. Rashad is going crazy. Axe says his cardiologist, you have to take it easy, be calm. Also, this game trying to send Axe to the doctor, to the hospital. Ray says Garnacho and Dorgu kept him in to 99 minutes. He did. And we can say that, you know, it was a mistake, I guess. You know, he should have made some changes earlier because it went the opposite way. I think his thinking was to keep in the same team, because if it's not broke, don't fix it. But you know what? At the end of the day, we've won the match. We've gotten over the line. But this team needs some serious help at the end of the day, because let's be real. We were up 2-0. We shouldn't be throwing that game away. There's no way we should have went to 2-2. There's no way we should have went to 4-2 with a man up. So those things are worrying signs. They're issues, they're problems. And those things cannot happen, because on another day, on another night, we won't get so lucky. We won't find an answer. We won't get over the line. We as a team cannot put ourselves in this position. You cannot let that happen. So, but Rajat says he's going to get drunk now. Let me get through the chat here. Rajat says, what did Dorgu do? Damn awful game. He did. I don't know, man. He was very... Today, I will say, out of all the matches he's played, it has been his worst game since coming to this club. I don't know if he didn't sleep well. I don't know if he didn't eat well. I don't know what it was with him today, but he was very poor. He was all over the place, out of position, not tracking back, getting caught in possession high up the pitch and not making it back. He didn't have a good game, and I would ask Ruben Amorim why he kept him in. I would like to know. I would like to know what his thought process was about that, because I refuse to believe that a manager, regardless of who they are, whether they started the job yesterday or they're Carlo Ancelotti or Sir Alex Ferguson, I refuse to believe a professional manager is sitting there watching that game and doesn't see that they're playing like shit. So I would like to know why he kept on both Dorgu and Garnacho. But more specifically Dorgu, because Dorgu really didn't offer anything, and Dorgu was really all over the place, and he was making all types of mistakes. Garnacho, I can understand a little bit, because again, he does get the ball. He is quite attacking and threatening with the ball. But he's just so selfish, and he just makes the wrong decisions constantly, that it just takes away from the good part of his game, which is getting the ball, driving at defenders, putting some, making a good run, and getting in a key area for the attack. And it's actually, that's what frustrates me the most. Is because he does one part of the game good, but the second part of the game, it's just like he just turns into this tunnel vision player. So I don't really understand it. But Lyle is in here as well. Lyle, how are we doing? How are we feeling? Lyle says, I'm about to burst. My head is still hot from what just happened. Actually, what the hell just happened? I don't think we really know what happened. I had to change the thumbnail 3 times because I made it once. We were winning. Then when we went down by 2 goals, I changed the thumbnail to the Reds go marching out, because I said we completely blew this game. We capitulated. The season is over. And it's going to be a show where I'm going to be screaming at the camera for 45 minutes straight. But then all of a sudden, we somehow won the game. And I don't really know. I don't really know what happened. Ray says, stop making Rasmus a scrapgoat. He doesn't get any service from any player in the United team. Well, again, I think it's different for all matches. I think some matches he has been very poor this season, regardless of if he's getting service or not. But again, today, I don't think... I will say this. To anybody that says today that Rasmus had a shit game, I just think they have a Rasmus agenda. Because I don't think Rasmus had a bad game. Rasmus didn't score, and Rasmus didn't have, I don't even know if he had a shot on target. But when you look at Rasmus's positioning, when you look at the fact that he was making good runs and not receiving the ball, and they don't pass the ball to him, it is impossible for him to get a goal in that way. It's just not going to happen. And when I see those things on the pitch, it doesn't matter what player you put there, they're not going to score. Because they're not given opportunities. I will say this though, I don't know if it's an issue. I can't tell you if this is the answer or not, but I will say I don't know what it is, but our players just don't, there's nobody on the pitch that wants to give Rasmus the ball. So I don't know if they don't rate him and they don't trust him, and therefore they're not passing him the ball. Maybe it's a subconscious thing, maybe it's a conscious thing, maybe it's a little bit of mix, or maybe it's something else. I don't really know what the issue is, but you can see there's times where Rasmus is making a run. He's one-on-one, basically. It's him and a center back by themselves. He's making a good run. And in normal situations, you give this ball to the striker and let him run and try and take on that defender and take a shot. And they don't give it to him. They pass it to Garnacho, or they pass it to Bruno, or they pass it to the wingbacks out wide. And I just don't understand why that is a thing. So Brajat says he gave up when Lyon went 4-2 on 4-2 in the game. Lion says Ineos in, Amarine in, and Onana in too much. Maybe just a tad. Maybe just a tad. Listen, we got a long way to go. We got a long way to go. We can be happy. We can be happy. We can be excited. It's good. We got over the line. We're through to the next competition. We're still undefeated in this competition. This has been our competition as far as Ruben Amorim has come in. But we still have a long way to go, and I'm not going to get carried away. Again, there's many things that need to be fixed in this team. There's many things that need to happen. That has to happen to get to the team to where we gotta go. But there's some things that are here to work with, and some things that are going to take some time. So we gotta take it little by little. We gotta take it little by little. Ray said he's been drunk before the game started. Well, that might have been better for you in the way that match has gone. I don't know. But Ray says we don't need the striker. We need the players to feed the striker. Well, I think we need both. We certainly do need players that feed the striker a little bit more, which is why Garnacho might be talked about being sold, because he's one of these players that, again, he doesn't fit that 10 position necessarily very well, because he is not a man of service. He is a man of driving, taking players on, cutting inside, and shooting. Which is why we keep talking about we need a number 10. But we certainly need another striker, whether you say that is to replace Rasmus or not. We need another striker for the depth and for the positioning. So, Lyle says, although Højlund also needs to work on his positioning, he doesn't offer much in the aspect, but he also needs to be fed. Well, I think one of the problems that he has, Lyle, is that his positioning is all over the place because he's not receiving the ball. And therefore, he loses his head. And he goes out of position constantly because he's trying to get involved in the match. And I think if he was given more opportunities, he'd be a little bit more level-headed and he would actually stay in position rather than be out of position. So, I think it's a little bit of both. I don't think his positioning is perfect, but I think he's a little bit erratic because he's not been given the service. So, Ray says he has a lot of questions about Ruben Amorim. I mean, fire them away. Lyle says Lazio are out. The most dangerous team. Bring on Athletic Club. Well, for me, Spurs is the one. Spurs is the one, and I'll tell you why. Because we lost to Spurs twice this season, and they are a Premier League team, and they are of Premier League quality. And yes, they've had a shit season, just like we've had a shit season, but yet they are above us in the table, I believe. And they're the one that I am most worried about. I am not worried about any of the other teams. Wasn't worried about Lazio. Wasn't worried about Bodo Glimt. Wasn't worried about whoever else is in there. Worried about Tottenham. Because we've lost to Tottenham twice, and I have a feeling we're going to end up meeting Tottenham in the final, and we need to figure out how we're going to get over that hump. Because we can't lose to Tottenham 3 times in one season, but also I think they are the biggest problem, there. So we got to figure out how we're going to move on. But let me pull up. Let's do live player ratings, and we'll jump back into the team, and we'll get a little bit of we'll get a little bit of quotes. We'll get a little bit of some stats, a little bit of news in there as well. Where are we here? Let me pull this up. Live player ratings. Let's do them together. Let's do them live. Let's get it going. I don't know. This is going to be difficult for me. Andre Onana. What are we saying? 6 is average. What are we saying? I want the chat to go first. I don't want to give the score first. The chat has to go first. Andre Onana, what are we giving him for a rating today? What are we giving a rating for today? In the meantime, while I wait, Ray says, my problem with Amorim is he let the momentum get away from us before he made changes. I mean, fair enough. Listen, you can make that argument. I felt like, I mean, I kind of knew that he wasn't going to make the changes because he seems to do that sort of thing, that we were in the lead and we were kind of in control, so he didn't want to change, and he's done that before. And in my opinion, it's a gamble. It is a gamble because you can make one decision. It's a 50-50 shot, in my opinion. You can make the gamble to keep with it, and you can lose momentum like we did, and we gave the game away. And it didn't go his way, but you can also make the gamble to kind of make changes, and if those changes don't go well, you can also lose momentum. So, he did his decision. It didn't go right. But somehow the team managed to get over the line. So somehow it worked out. But the chat, Lyle saying he's given 7.5 to Onana, and Lion says he's given a 7 to Onana. And I would probably agree around there. I mean, I would say a 6.5 or a 7. I don't think we can blame him for any of the goals, realistically. We did ship 4 goals, but I think it was a little bit more on the team and the defense in that aspect. I don't think today he made some big saves at some point during the match when we were up, which were important saves. It's a bit hard to give him any higher because we did ship 4 goals, but again, I can't blame him for that. It's just the fact that he is part of the defensive unit in terms of that. So, but I can't blame him for the goals. The team capitulated. The team, in terms of the defense, completely fell apart. I mean, Dorgu not marking his man in the back, that's 1 goal. How are you going to blame Onana for that? You can't blame him for that. And the other goals, you can't blame him for really any of that. They all, the defense fell apart, the team fell apart. So I can't really put any blame for on Onana for that. Lion says Onana saved us, and that's fair enough. Axe says, sincere comment here. He said the attitude and the tactics were completely off in the second half. Lyon was so enthusiastic and courageous. We couldn't give up and disconsider the opponent Amorim should have managed. Well, I think, he should have, he could have managed it better. He could have. But I will say this. Listen, he's a young guy. And maybe this is why I'm not too harsh on him, because I know that he's going to make mistakes, and it's going to happen. And now if it happens every match, it's an issue. And then you have to make a decision on it. But I just don't want it to be another thing where people pile on top of this manager, because I already think he's getting an unfair shake as it is. So I do think that some of the decisions he made today, I wouldn't have made those same decisions, and I think he got some things wrong. But I don't think it's a consistent reoccurring theme, so I wouldn't hang it over his head. For today's match, that's fine. It's a fair criticism, but I don't think it's fair to say that this is who that manager is, and he's constantly doing things like this, and he's constantly like that. So that's where I'm trying to separate it there. Because it's one thing to make mistakes and do it in a match. Ferguson made plenty of them, and so has every other manager, whether they're greats or not. They do it all the time. But I just don't want it to be something that's hung over his head for him to be considered as that type of manager, because I don't think he's done that many times. Also, he's navigating some very difficult waters, so I'm trying to give him some leeway, and I'm always upfront and honest about it, and I always will be upfront and honest about it. I'm trying to give this guy some time, and I'm trying to give him some patience, and I'm trying to give him a fair shake. So I get that, but yeah, I do agree that, you know, some of the management in the second half, it didn't go the way that I guess he thought it was going to. He got it wrong, and it didn't help. It didn't help, and it went the wrong way. And hopefully he learns from that, because if he continues to make those mistakes, then we have a big issue. But he's allowed to make a mistake here or there, because he's not perfect, and he ain't God, and he's not going to get everything right. So, but Onana, let's get to the player ratings. Player ratings. So 7, but Maguire, what are we gonna give Maguire? I'll probably give him a 6, a 6.5. Average game to me. Had to get subbed off as well, because I think he was a little bit dead in terms of fitness, and I think he had to come off. So, who's Mazawawi? Don't make fun of my accent, Bonelog. Don't make fun of I got the New York American accent. Mazarawi. There you go. See, you want me to talk like that? I'm trying my thing. Ray's giving him an 8. Rajat's giving him a 5.5. I think we're all over the place. Listen, I like Maz. I think he had some important tackles during the match, and he always brings the good energy. I just can't remember him being too impactful, and I don't think, to be fair, for a large part of the game, we weren't really under threat. So, Bonelog says that's better. All right, well, I try my best. Listen, I'm not perfect either. Nobody is. So I try my best. But yeah, Lyle says he didn't do anything extraordinary except his job, and I think that's fair. I like Maz. He brings the energy. I like how he goes hard in the tackle. He doesn't give up on the plays. Even if he gets beat, he usually recovers. He usually makes himself sort of a presence there. I like him as a player. I think he just had a fairly decently average game today. I don't think he necessarily stood out. I don't think it was a poor game by him. I will say that. So, Bonelog says, I'd give him the benefit of the doubt. He might have picked up a knock and had to come off. He's had to play a lot of minutes this season, and he's been a huge stabilizing factor. I do agree with that. Listen, 6 not a bad score. 6 is average. There's nothing wrong with average. You can have an average game from time to time. I think he's been one of the better signings of the season. I think he's been one of the more consistent players of the season. And I think he's been, like you said, I think he's been sort of a stabilizing factor. He's been somebody that we can sort of rely on, somebody we don't really have to worry too much about. So, yeah, I think, it's fine if you have a 6 every once in a while. And a 6 is just an average score. It's not a bad score. And sometimes it's not really on the player as well. Sometimes it has to do with the match. the goalkeeper can get a 6 if the other team only has a shot on target. There's not much for the goalkeeper to do. Even the defense, if the defense doesn't have much to do, they're probably going to get around 6s because they don't got much to do. So it depends. Ray says he'll give him a 7. Fair enough. I mean, we're all around, we're all around there. So we're around the same there. The chat's making fun of me because of my my pronunciations. Axfa said we need Delit for the semi. Well, that is a player that I would like to see back. Again, I think he's been a good signing as well. I like that the new people are getting in the chat as well. It's good to hear from you guys. Man Lutata is in here as well. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to the new people in the chat. We have our loyalists in here. Axe Lord, Lions, Lyle, Ray. They've been with me since day one. We're missing a couple, but that's all right. But well, we like the new faces. I like that you guys are getting involved in the chat. It's good to hear from you guys. I'm glad you found the channel, so big up yourselves. And hopefully you guys stick around because I think we have we have a small community. We're a small channel, but I think we have a very good and lovely community. We enjoy Manchester United and we're very passionate about it. So it's good to have you guys in here for today. Let's get to Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire. I wish I could pull these up on the screen, but I don't have that ability yet. But Harry Maguire, get in the chat. Get in the chat. Oh yes. While you're here, we need a mod, Eric. Change me to blue. I will do that. So fair enough. Lyle is he's been the main guy. He's been here since day one. He's a very, very good guy. He's made a couple things for the channel that hasn't come yet. We're gonna get a live call-in show coming to the channel. And we got some wonderful emojis, stickers that are coming to the channel as well. And Lyle made those. So if you stick around, you're going to be able to see those eventually as well. But yeah, that's one thing. We got a Discord coming. We got live call-in show coming as well. So, but let's get back to the player ratings. We're getting carried away here. Harry Maguire, chat, go away. Give me the rating for Harry Maguire. I feel like it's going to be pretty high. Lyle is blue. I wish we could change it to red. We don't like blue. I wish we could change the Discord color to red. Should be red. We didn't get to Delo. Harry Maguire. Lyle says 9.9. Man Lutata says 8. I think we're gonna have to give him a high score today. I think, chat. I really do. I think we're gonna have to give him. One. Lord Harry Maguire, Axe Lord says 9. Rajat says Maggie's giving him a 7.8. Coming with the 7.8. All right. Maguire got a yellow for a foolish tackle. 8 for Maguire from Ray. Axfa says craziest game this. We still in the freaking Europa. Let's freaking go. Yes, we are. I agree with the 8 for Harry Maguire. I'll give him an 8. He scored the game-winning goal. I think, in these times we're allowed to be fans. You want to give him a 9, you want to give him a 10 for the game-winning goal. I mean, we could give him a 10. It doesn't, it is what it is. But listen, if he doesn't score that goal, we don't win that match. We go to penalties, and who knows what happens in the penalties. We could be out, we could be in, we could win the penalties, we could lose. But Slabby getting that slab head on the ball and getting it in the net. I mean, what a long way he's come. I think we should take at least 2-3 minutes to really praise Harry Maguire. I'm being serious here because the guy was... And I was part of it. I hold my hands up, but I always have a good reason, and I say I didn't take it that far. I used to say Maguire was shit. I hated Maguire because he played like shit. And I didn't like him, and I didn't want him in the team. He's come a long way from there. He really has. Ever since the captaincy was taken off of him, he has become the player I think we expected when we bought him. He's been very solid. He's been a leader without the armband. He's shown strong character. He's played to his abilities. He still has his faults. you know, the one goal that Turkey scored, he got crossed up on it. It's to a fault, right? He's a little bit slow. He can get caught up by some faster players and he can get beat. And there's nothing you can do about that. But I will say this, in a team where we question mentality and attitude from a lot of these players, I think the one thing you can't do is ever question his mentality and attitude. And I think, again, we've apologized to him a million times, but I think, again, there's people out there that I think that did question his mentality and attitude. They should be holding their hands up, because he is one that has come from the barren depths of this team, of just being absolutely ripped to shreds, ridiculed, you know, having a bomb threat against him. That's how serious it got. He had a bomb threat on his home with his family against him. And, you know, I will never take it that far. I will take it as far as saying he's shit and I don't want to see him in the team. But to do bomb threats against a player, I think is ridiculous. And for him to go from there to come out to this other side where he's been really solid and a strong character and leader, and he's been important to our team when he's been able to play and not been injured, and for him to be out the past couple matches, come back in, and now he's scored this winning goal and he's put us through. He really does deserve praise, and this is what it's about. You have to be fair. I wish the fan base around the world would be a little bit more fair at times. I you know, when they're shit, I get it. Criticize them, they deserve it. But be a little bit more fair. When they do things like this, they deserve the utmost praise. They deserve the utmost praise. So, Lyle says he's got friends in high places now. Lyle says, stick with me and you'll never go hungry again. Mags was outstanding. Axfa says, I gotta get used to your name, Axfa. I will go 8 for Maguire. Played whole match as center back. I kind of forgot about that, to be honest. And went forward. You know what? I'm gonna give him a 9. I'll give him a 9. He'd get the 10, but I think he got, you know, it was a little bit at fault for that Turkey goal. But I'll give him a 9 because, you know what? Like Axfa said, he played the whole match as center back. He went forward as a striker. He scored the last minute game winner. And, you know, so Ray says, Red Devils, we are the best of the worst. I mean, listen, you got to take it as it goes. Mags average without goals, but fair play. Maybe so. But you know what? He did what he had to do. Listen, everyone was good, but let's give Euro his credit. Brother is young and played a whole 120 minutes. But we're going to get to Euro. He's coming up next. Access for Maguire, I don't know, but for Glazers for sure. Well, that we always agree on, Axe for sure, right? Glazers out till they are out, finally. Hopefully one day. We pray and hope we get there. Axe says Euro with the head intervention, he sacrificed himself. The one that was on the floor when he got smashed in the head at close range. That was crazy, you know? That really was. But that's what we need in this team. We need a little bit more character. We need a little bit more players willing to put their body on the line. I think we have some players that are there. I don't think it's a complete group of that. I think we need to work more towards that. And we have some things that we have to work more towards of. But listen, a team to do this, this is the point I'm trying to put. And I don't know, you know, sometimes I struggle with getting the point across. I think, you know, I could do a better job with getting it across. But what I'm trying to say is a team that can blow the game the way we did, there's issues there that obviously we have to fix so we don't blow the match in the way we did. But at the same time, for the team to then come back and then win the match in the manner that they did and persevere through that, there's obviously some good qualities there that you can work with. It's a bit of a mixed bag. It's a little bit hard to kind of dictate exactly where these issues and problems, you know, in the entire squad is, because it's a mixed bag. We did well to come back, but we should have never been in that position in the first place. So there's some things that are positives that are definitely there to work with, and there's some things there that are negatives that we either need to sort out or we got to change completely. So you know, let's see where we are in the chat. 8 likes. Yes, we need to run those likes up, please, guys. We got 21 watching. Please smash that like button. It helps the channel grow. And if you don't do it for me or the channel, run it up for United. I mean, run it up for our Marine. Run it up for the win. Run it up for the fact that we're in the semifinals. You know, just smash that like button. Smash that like button. Zed, if I mess your name up, I'm sorry. I do my best with the names. I'm a little bit dyslexic. It's a joke. I'm not actually dyslexic, but I'm just bad with names. So I try my best. But Zed Atska says, these lads were losers 3 months ago. Now they pull back from 2-0, turned into 2-4. I'm telling you, boys, Ruben is special. Well, here we go. We got a Ruben believer. He is special. He messed with them heads already, 100% for sure. Well, I will say, listen, they still have a bit of that loser-ish type of mentality in them. It's not kinked out yet. I will say that. I will say, don't get carried away, Zed, because again, the position we were in, there's no way a winning team blows that lead, right? And I know we don't want to compare ourselves to other teams, and people don't like the comparisons to the rival teams, but I will say this. Look at Arsenal the other day. They went to Madrid, and even the game before, you know, they hit Madrid for 3. They went away. They played at the Bernabeu, and they actually won that match. When you are the team at the top, when you are at your utmost strongest, you don't put your team does not put itself in the position to potentially lose the game in the way we did. So I think things are changing. I think we're in the process, and I think Ruben has the potential to do it. But I won't say that he's special yet, because Ruben has to earn that. He has to earn being called special. And I think he can be special, but he has to earn it. And he hasn't earned it yet, because there's a lot of work to do. And it can fall apart very, very quickly. And this, you know, today is a day to celebrate. But let's not forget where we are. We're 14th in the Premier League. It's been a very torrid time, up and down, for Ruben Amorim since he's come in. I believe in Ruben Amorim. I want to give him more time. I back him. But we are a work in progress, is what I'm trying to say. And when you are a work in progress, there's going to be some fantastic times. There's going to be some really shit times. And it's going to be a little bit of a roller coaster until, you know, hopefully you hit that point where we can really get the trajectory to go up. So, Lyle says 21 watching. Smash the like while you're here, folks, and let's help Eric grow this channel and the RDE community. Yes, if you're new, my name is Eric. I am the host of this, but I have my wonderful community that's been here for quite some time now. So get involved in the chat. We always love to hear from the new people. And if you're new, subscribe as well if you like me or you like the chat. You don't have to like me, but you could like the community as well. We go live weekly. We're live after every match. We call these the Red Devil recaps that we do after the match. And we're live during the week doing just topical news shows or Q&As and stuff like that. So yeah, it's good to get involved. We're glad that a lot of you are here. So but let's get back to the player ratings. We're getting very sidetracked, but I like the conversation, so I like to keep that going. Axford says he's going back to work, pub, and seeing all the mates' faces will be utter good. Yes, it will. It's, you know, we haven't had many times this season to kind of put it in people's faces, and we've been taking a lot of shit, so we got to take it as it comes. So enjoy it today. You know, and make sure you give some back to the rivals and to the haters. Axe says we simply cannot be so momentum dependent. No, you're right. And, you know, because momentum wanes and it goes on and off, and that's why we need to be more solid and we need to be stronger, and, you know, we got to get there. But I do believe that it takes time. It does take time, and it's going to take some time. So that's why I want to give this manager as much time as possible, because I want to see if he can do it. I want to see if he can do it. I think he can do it. I believe he can do it. But he needs the time to prove if he can or cannot do it. Rajat says Mount was very good off the bench. Again, yeah, I think he was. He fits the system very well. I think that's why Ruben's talked about him very glowingly, and he really wants him in there. You know, Ax says, I think you are a bit dyslexic. I might be. I don't know. I'm not diagnosed, so I can't tell you. The chat is going crazy. I'm trying to keep up. Lyle says, work in progress for sure. This season is the official rebuild. Well, I hope that's what it is. You know, Axe made a comment on my last show last time, and he said, stop treating everything like it's a preseason. And I understand why he said that, and I don't disagree with him, but I don't... But my initial thought was, well, the way the season's gone, it is a little bit almost like a preseason for Ruben, at least in the Premier League. Now, I'm not saying it's an excuse to lose matches, but what I'm saying is, I kind of view it in that way for Ruben in a way, because I think he's trying to get the full understanding of the team and the players in his system. And I really do feel like next season has got to be the season that we have to see the improvement. So I'm looking forward to next season to see what he's going to show us and what he can do. And I hope that it is one that it is a positivity. Ray says, I don't agree with Ruben Amorim for me. Doesn't have the balls to run the United team. Well, I don't know. I mean, you have to explain why he doesn't have the balls, because I don't think he can please everybody with everything that he does. You know, I don't know. At one point, they said the same thing about Erik ten Hag because he wouldn't drop Marcus Rashford from the squad. I mean, Ruben Amorim has removed Marcus Rashford from the squad, but you know, so I don't really know how that goes. Zed says, believe Eric, believe my boy. We can smile after some time. Listen, I put my trust in this guy, like I've done with every manager. I will back them, and I try to give them the utmost time that I possibly can, and it's on them to prove. I take it the other way. I think Ray is a guy that he doubts them till they prove him wrong. And I'm a guy that puts belief behind somebody till they prove me wrong. So it's almost the same way, but it's from two different ways, right? He doubts them until they can prove them wrong and they do the right things. I put belief in them and I tell them, you know, go out there and do it. But if you fail, then, you know, you've proved me wrong, and now I can't support you and I can't back you, right? But that's how I approach it. Did Tolisso deserve the second card? I don't think so. I think he did. You're on a yellow, and you made that sort of foul, and I think, you know, the way the match went, I think with the yellow cards that were being brandished, I think he does, because it was an intentional foul. Axe says, let's be realistic. It's too much of a roller coaster. We were lucky at Lyon and had no defense. This couldn't have been possible against the top tier team. You're right. Which is why we need to build and we need to do better, and we got to get stronger. Again, by no means, I'm not naive about that. I'm not saying that we're anywhere near that. I'm just saying that I think there are things there that there is to build on from the manager standpoint, and I want to see if he can build it out or not. I want to give him the opportunity to show me if he can do the job or not. That's what I'm asking from him. So I just want to give him time to do that. We're getting a little bit carried away because we were in the middle of player ratings, but so let's carry on and let's finish up these player ratings. We are on Euro. Chat, get involved, give us scores for Euro. In the meantime, I'll go in between comments and player ratings and stuff like that, and player ratings. Ray says, keep dreaming, but don't dream too much. But, you know, our stadium is nicknamed Theater of Dreams, so I guess you gotta dream. Ray says, doesn't have Ferguson balls. Well, I don't know if anybody has Ferguson balls in today's time. Except for the oldies, like Pep, or like, you know, Ancelotti. So, and the times are different anyway. The players are not they're not the type of players that Ferguson had. It's a different mentality. They're definitely a lot softer. So, you know, I don't know. Axe says Rashford plays very well for Villa. That he does. We've spoke about that many times. And I said before he left, I said that was going to happen, because it was never a question of his ability, but it was a question about his attitude and mentality. And it just looked like he just wasn't in the correct mindset at Manchester United, one reason or another. He looked very unhappy. I don't know what the reason is. He can tell us. He's not going to tell us, but he's changed scenes. He's changed. He's got a new environment. And he's playing for something to prove. So, I predicted that was going to happen. Lenny Euro. Let's do player ratings and we'll get back to the chat. How about that? We'll be fair. We have a good 30 minutes left in the show. So let's finish up the player ratings and we'll get back to the discussion. Lenny Euro, what are we giving Lenny Euro? I give Lenny a 7. I'll give him a 7. I think he was good today. He played 420 minutes. He had that block with his head. Although I don't know how much of that he actually meant it, but you know, I think it is one that it was still very good. I don't know how much he actually made an effort to block it with his head, but it did save us. And it was definitely hard to take. So, you know, yeah, but I think I like this kid. I think the more we see him, the more we kind of see why Real Madrid were looking to sign him, and why we paid, you know, a good amount of money for him as a kid. Ray said he'd give him a 6. Lia give him a 7. Axe says Euro's a 9. Calling him Noro. Yeah, I think a 7 for me is good. I'd give him that much. And you know what? Lenny Rajat says he's giving him a 6.685. He's coming out with the triple digits. It's very late as well, but I like that everybody's here. And I was gonna say this. I was hoping that we were gonna win. You know why? Everybody says the positivity. I mean, negativity drives the clicks and drives the views. But in my experience, as a small channel and a small show, when you know, when we've been shit, nobody tunes in. Everybody tunes out. You know what I mean? But when we have positive wins like today, or when we won the FA Cup, we've had our highest number of viewers and highest number of interactions. So I think the positive outweighs the negative always. Diego Delo, Lenny will give him a 7. I think we're around there. 6.57 is the average. Delo, I give Delo 7.5. I don't know. I kind of got a little bit lost all over the match, but I mean, Delo scored a goal, and I think he did decently well. I mean, the second half was it was a little bit hard to judge, because the first half, I think Delo was so good in the first half. I think he was decently good in the second half as well, although the team just wasn't as good in the second half than they were in the first half. So it was, you know, it was a bit tough. Axe says he needs to go to sleep. Well, good night, Axe. We'll catch you on the next one. We're going to be live tomorrow. We'll be live tomorrow. We're going to do a show tomorrow. So if you want to jump in, we'll be around 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Friday night, kind of a Q&A free-for-all. So we'll be here if you're available. But thanks for joining us, Axe. Good to hear from you. And have a good night. Sweet dreams. Lyle says 7. Ray says 6. Delo says 7.5, maybe 8 for Delo. Yeah, I think that's fair. We'll kind of just run through these. Casemiro. You know what? I give Casemiro a 7.5 as well, and I'll tell you why. Number one, he created the winning goal, but also he played 120 minutes as a guy with no legs, and actually I think he had a good game as well. So, with the guy that, you know, supposedly is finished with the legs, to play 120 minutes and then also come up with the play for the winning goal from Maguire, yeah, I mean, I think he deserves a good score, and he lasted that long as well. You know, maybe him sticking around won't be so bad next season, albeit though I do expect him to lose a little bit more pace, because that just happens with time. But it's just, you know what's the shit thing about Casemiro is that the fact that he's on 350,000 a week. I think if he wasn't on such a high wage, it wouldn't be a problem to really keep him in the squad, because I don't think he will necessarily be the starter for the entire season next season. I just don't think he'll be able to do it. I don't think he'll be able to last. But then you have a player that's coming off the bench on 350,000 a week. It's a bit of an issue. It's a bit of a problem in the squad dynamic. So, Caleb says he's given an 8.2. I assume that's for the low. I like the point twos here. The point twos, we got point 0.67, 0.685s coming in. It's really funny. Yeah, Casse played well tonight. Yeah, I give him a 7.5. Ugarte, I give him a 7. I think he played good as well. Him and Cass today. And this was where the difference was in the Newcastle game, and I said it in that last match. I said that I said I wouldn't have played that midfield we played against Newcastle. I think against Newcastle, the physical team, we needed Cass and Ugarte. We didn't play them. We got ripped apart by the physicality. And I think Ugarte with Casemiro there, they did well. And they actually do pretty good, considering that they are two defensive midfielders. Casemiro with a little bit more. You know what? And Ugarte scored the first goal, so let's up it by a 0.5. Let's up it by a 0.5. RSV says Delo was crap. You think he was crap? I think he was pretty good. I think Dorgu was crap. When I look at the game Delo had, and then I look at the game Dorgu had, I think Delo was miles better than Dorgu. I think Dorgu had a shit game. Caleb clarifying, 8.2 for Cass. My bad, I didn't know which one. He made crucial tackles, won a couple fouls, brilliant passing in the midfield, and to top it off, 2 assists. He got 2 assists. He did. I thought he had the 1. I sometimes I miss things. Fair enough, fair play. Fair play. Yeah, but Ugarte and Cass, I think actually combination of them in the midfield actually seems to be very strong. One that I wouldn't necessarily be too, I wasn't too fond of, because they seem like the more defensive unit. And sometimes I think with the fact that we're lacking goal scoring opportunities, I kind of see that as an issue sometimes in games, and I think sometimes it is an issue in games, but sometimes it plays to our strong suit because they do very well in terms of getting the ball back, and that helps us out as well. So, yeah, Ray says 7.5 for Ugarte, and Lyle says he was sharp for that penalty too. Yeah, fair enough. Dorgu, I probably give him a 4.5, if I'm going to be honest. Because he just wasn't at the races today, was he? I mean, he was all over the place, like I said in the beginning of the show. He was all over the place, out of position. He had, I will tell you this was his worst game that he's had since he's come to the club. And I don't think I've said he's had a bad game since he's played for us. I haven't rated him, I think, below a 6 since he's come in January. But he was out of position. He's losing the ball very high up the pitch, jogging back, not making the run back, leaving that left-hand side exposed. He was at fault for one of the goals, because why was he standing next to Luke Shaw defending when Luke Shaw had his player covered in the box and he left his player open? I don't know why. Ray says he gives him a 3. I mean, that's fair. You know, low score. He wasn't very good today. So yeah, I just think that it was just it wasn't a very good game from Dorgu. I would have subbed him off. I don't know necessarily why Ruben Amorim kept him on. I don't think it's because Ruben Amorim thought he was playing good. I'm sure Ruben Amorim made a different decision as to why to keep him on, but it couldn't be because he was having a good game. So, that I won't believe. There's no way that he was sitting there, you know, thinking that he had a good game. So, you know, just Just give me a second, because I'm doing something in the middle. Turkey ran past him a lot. Yeah, I mean, it just wasn't a good game for him. It really wasn't. Dorgu was the weak link today. I thought I read my mind is playing tricks on me. I thought I read somebody say that that Dorgu was drunk. I mean, he played like he was hungover. That's what. Now, I'm not accusing him of drinking or anything. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's what it looked like. He just looked off the paces. He just looked like he was somewhere else today. He just didn't look like he was on top of anything. In any way. Am I drunk? No, I'm not drunk. I barely drink. Only time I drink is when I go on vacation and we go out to parties. I don't drink. I won't even drink today. I'm not that type of person. So, some people drink because they like to drink. If I'm drinking, I'm not having one. I'm having 12. And if I'm having 12, I better be doing something. You know what I mean? I'm not getting drunk sitting on the couch watching TV. That serves no purpose to me. I don't see the purpose in it. So, yeah. Hold on, I'm just distracted because I'm doing something on my phone right now, but I'll get there in a second. So excuse me for that. I'm trying to do two things at once, and it's difficult. Yeah. All right, so back to what we were saying. Amorim should rotate Amos and Dorgu to create a competitive edge between the two. He should. I think it's coming, because I think from where Amos was to where Amos is going, he's featuring a little bit more. He's being involved more in the squad. So maybe it's coming. I think Amos played good against Newcastle anyway. He got 30 minutes before. You can make an argument that he should have been in much earlier. It may be, but I think maybe Ruben had some reservations about that. He's sort of a very young player. Maybe he's not exactly at the point where they want him to be. And it's a European match. So maybe he was a little bit cautious in that aspect. But I think it is coming. I think I think these things are progresses. And I'm one willing to be a little bit more patient, I guess, than maybe some other people. But yeah, I think slowly but surely. I mean, the fact that he's there and he's getting minutes and he's getting opportunities is an encouraging sign. Now, whether you want more from it, that's, up to you to feel that way. But for me, at the very least, I think it's an encouraging sign that if he's there, he's part of the squad, and he's getting minutes and he's getting involvement, that is a good indication that he is in the mind frame. He is in the plans to grow more into the role. So, and I think he's gonna have to, Caleb, because I think he's gonna have to, Caleb. I think he's gonna have to do that, because Malacia is definitely gonna be gone, and Luke Shaw possibly might not be the left back. He might be another type of Maz, where we play him, left center back, right center back type of players. So, Axe says Amorim, I would give him a 4.5. He was lucky. Other managers transferred in Bruno, Maguire, Casson, and grew MAINOO. Dorgu was like on drugs all match. Amorim is so stubborn. Well, our previous manager was so stubborn too. So I wouldn't give him a 4.5. I'd probably give him a 6, because I think the game went two ways. I think he probably could have. I think some of the things that he didn't manage it the best way, or went against him, but he made some changes. The MAINOO change that he made, it ended up paying off, because MAINOO ended up scoring one of the goals to make it level. And the other changes played a part in terms of getting Mount on eventually, and, making the subs and putting on Almas. Whether it was late or not, he still did it, and it ended up working out. So, I don't think it was a masterclass by him, but I think he lined up very good. I think the first half was fine. I think the second half he sort of lost it. And then he got it back. And yeah, maybe he was lucky, but sometimes you need some luck Um, Sometimes you just need some luck, and you go on to the next one, and you learn, and you move on. So, um, Caleb says he reminds me of a fit Luke Shaw. Well, I think definitely Amos has some potential to be there, and I think he can. I think he's gonna. I think he could be a good player. Again, I just think that we gotta go little by little. You know what I mean? Um, but again, listen, I'm gonna give. I've said this. I done this with every manager, and I'm gonna continue to do it with every manager. I'm gonna give them time. And I'm going to continue to back them. They're going to make mistakes. They all make mistakes. Every single manager makes mistakes. None of them are perfect. They're not always going to get everything right. But again, for me, this season's one that's been kind of just all over the place. And I look forward to next season. And I look forward to seeing what our manager really is about next season. I think we can all say this and that about this season. There's so many determining factors. You know, if Eric Ten Hag is allowed to get excuses for injuries last season, then I don't see why there can't be excuses for Ruben Amorim in this season that he's joined. So, I'm wasting time on managers. I'm not wasting any time on any managers. They're here in charge. I don't hire or fire the managers. I have no control. I have no say. We was very lucky today. That's very good. You know what? Because sometimes we need luck. You know, because I can go back and I can pick out a bunch of matches since Ruben Amorim has been here, and I can tell you in at least more than a handful, we've been very unlucky. So sometimes you need a little bit of luck, and sometimes you live or die by the luck. Not everybody is, you know, even the big teams, they, you know, even Liverpool, where they won the season, there's been matches where they were lucky. They got one goal. They played like shit. They didn't deserve to win the match. They got outplayed, but they get a little bit of luck. They win the match 1-0. They go to the next match and they're fine. So these things happen. Sometimes you need luck. You need luck on your side. There's been a handful of matches where we were the better team, where we outplayed the team, where we did well, where we should be winning the match, where we should be scoring 3 goals, but we're very unlucky and we lose the match. So today the left side was shipped all day and didn't do nothing till the 90th minute. Well, all right, we'll crucify him then. I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you. Let's fire Ruben Amorim because the left-hand side was shit today and he didn't do anything till the 90th minute. I think it's, you know, I don't know what you want me to tell you about that. Yeah, the left-hand side was shit. He did what he did. At the end of the day, we won the match. We got into the next round. We're in the semifinals. We're undefeated in the Europa League. He's taken us from 14th place in the Europa League to 3rd place in the table, and we still haven't lost a match in the Europa League. So, you know, I don't know. The way people talk about this guy, no matter what he does, everything is wrong and he's a bad manager. You know, I don't agree with it. I really don't agree with it. Because nobody has an answer. So, and I don't have an answer either. I'm just willing to give this guy a chance to show what he can do. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's the answer. I'm just saying, show me what you got. Show me what you got. And when it gets to a point where it's, you know, if it gets to a point where it's total failure, then it's total failure. And you say, listen, it failed and it's done and it's over. And you move on to the next one. If it succeeds, then you're fucking happy. You know, I already said, just tell the truth, spit it out. I've been telling the truth. The whole show has been the truth. I haven't said one lie. I haven't said a single lie. I haven't said one lie today. Actually, ever. I don't lie. I'm just fairly even-handed because everything isn't black and white on this planet. So you can say that the left-hand side was shit. Okay, good. So what did we get out of that today? Ruben Amorim is a terrible manager because he kept Patrick Dorgu and Garnacho in. The left-hand side was shit, so he should be sacked. Let's sack him. Let's get rid of him. He's a bad manager. All right, next manager. Let's bring him in. Let's sack and fire a manager every month. Let's not have a manager. Let's forget the manager. Let's forget the captain. Let's get rid of everybody. You know, it's fine if you have a different opinion, but when you have an opinion, give a solution. How about that? Because you can say the left-hand side was shit. Okay, so he should have subbed it. All right. Now, has he done this before? We're gonna get on. We're gonna get on about Ruben Amorim today because he let the left-hand side be shit. All right. Did he do this ever in the 5 months that he's been here? Has he ever done this? Has he ever done that in 5 months while he's here? No, it's a one-time thing. I'm sure he's had his reasons for it. You know, you say it in a way like he's naive and he doesn't see the game. And I find that hard to believe because he has all his coaching badges and he's a fucking professional manager. So I'm sure he knows that they didn't have very good games. But for one reason or another, whether it was right or wrong, he made a call and you live and die by it. And sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. That's life. But you know what? He still won the match today. He still got us through to the semifinals. And that's the bigger picture for me. He made mistakes. He's gonna make mistakes in the future. He's gonna manage games where he pulls off a player. He shouldn't pull off a player. We might lose the match because of it. But at the end of the day, it's the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is that I believe that he has a good philosophy of football and he has a good idea of football. And I think he can do that at Manchester United with a little bit of help. With a little bit of help. Caleb says that he agrees. He said, Amorim is trustworthy. I want to see him adopting different styles, though, to be able to change things according to the context of his team that we face. And I think that's something that he does need to work on. And I think, again, that has to come with time because he is a young guy in a situation that's a little bit... Listen, the way I view the situation is it's not a normal manager change. We didn't get somebody that plays similar football to the way that Ten Hag plays. So when you come in and you make all these changes, it's not going to go smoothly. It's impossible. You know, it's like taking over a company and they're running it one way and you come in and you completely change the way it's running. The employees have to get used to it. Some people aren't going to be able to, they're not going to be able to get used to it. There's going to be bumps in the road. It's going to happen. And this is the thing. Like, I don't understand why everybody is so hyperbolic about this guy. He's been here for 5 months. I refuse to judge him based off of 5 months. And not judge him in that way, but I refuse to bang the hammer and say, that's it. That's what he is. And the verdict is done and it's over. Based off of 5 months. Based off of the circumstances. I just don't understand. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. You're not talking about bringing in a manager that fits this team. So why is it his fault? Let's change the team. Let's change the identity. Let's get a team that plays good football. Because what we did for the past 13 years under every other manager was no good. So we got to start somewhere. And I say we're starting now. And I say we're starting under this manager. He'd be out by December next year. Well, if he does, then you know what? That sucks. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think it'll be his fault. If he's out by next December, then let's just fucking fold the club because we're never going to succeed. Keep sacking managers. It's always the manager's fault. Let's never address the other problems at the club. We'll just keep going in circles. It's the manager. It's always the manager. It's the manager. The manager. The manager is the biggest problem at our football club. We're gonna hire 15 fucking managers and never win because it's always the manager when it's really not the manager. The manager, I don't understand. People think the manager is king because Ferguson was the king, but in modern football, the manager is no longer the king. The manager is a pawn, whether people want to accept it or not. And if you believe that or not, I don't know what to tell you. But modern football, managers are no longer the kings. They are the pawn. You want to know why? Because it's not about a manager. It's about your club. It's about the identity of the club and the identity of the football and the people that you bring in to play the football. The coach, all he does is manage and coach a group of players. So, if you don't have the other things in place, you can hire every manager under the sun. They'll all fail. They all won't succeed. and maybe one manager finishes in 6th, and maybe one manager finishes in 10th, and maybe one manager finishes in 14th. But guess what they're not doing? They're not winning the Premier League, and they're not winning the Champions League. So I'll tell you that much. But I'm gonna finish these. I'm gonna finish these player ratings. Bruno Fernandes, I'll give him a 7. Garnacho, he's gonna get a 5.5 because he just listen. Bruno, I give him a 7. Scored one of the pens. I think he did all right. He got the game going in the initial play. So how do you can tell this managing the team when a selfish player stayed on the field till the 90th 99 minutes? The scrap goes before him because Rasmus isn't this. Because the things you're saying they don't correlate. In your opinion, Rasmus is a scrapgoat. Rasmus was taken off, not because Ruben Amorim said, Rasmus, you had a shit game, get off. Rasmus got taken off because, 1, the team wasn't providing service to Rasmus, and 2, because Rasmus was tired, so he got subbed off. Garnacho was still running, even though he's selfish, and Ruben Amorim doesn't want selfish players. He made that statement before. It's why he dropped Garnacho, and it's why he dropped Rashford, and it's why Rashford isn't in the team. Now, he's trying to work with Garnacho. Garnacho's very selfish. Now, I will say the bigger statement is forget him being on the pitch in the 90 minutes. The biggest statement will come is if we get to the window and he sells Alejandro Garnacho. That's the biggest statement for me. Box is in here as well. Box, how you doing? Hope everything is good. End of rant. Back to regular programming, guys. Please don't take anything personally here. It's good to have a conversation. So no, I'm just saying, like, listen, I'm tired of the utmost hate on the manager. I mean, I think it's absolutely ridiculous to have so much hate for a guy that's been here for 5 months. It literally doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense in any sort of way. I just don't get it. It doesn't make sense. You know. Because you argue that Rasmus is a scrapgoat. Well, you know what? You're doing the same thing to the managers. So if you want to be fair, how about don't make Rasmus a scrapgoat and don't make the manager a scrapgoat? Because you're doing the same thing that you're accusing him of doing. And you know what? To be fair to Ruben Amorim, he's never made Rasmus the scrapgoat. That's our fans. So if you have a problem with that, go at our fans because they're the ones that are going at Rasmus and saying his shit. Ruben has tried to make Rasmus good. He's given him opportunities. He's been backing him publicly. He hasn't taken him out of the team. Now you're going to argue the opposite way and say, well, he should take him out of the team. Well, is he a scrapgoat or not? Is it his fault or not? What is he supposed to do? Because whatever he chooses to do apparently is the wrong decision. So I'm tired of that. Crazy game. Looked so good, then so bad, then good, then bad, then good. I mean, it was. So we were just lucky, my friend. All right, we were lucky. Good. I should have just opened the show and said, Manchester United 5-4. We were lucky. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you later. Because that's all it was. We weren't lucky. Because you know what? We took the lead 2-0. We were lucky, but that's not the story of the match. The story of the match was we were good. We went up 2-0. We capitulated because that's what this team has been doing. It's not a Ruben problem. How many times did we do it under Ten Hag? How many times did we do it under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? You know, it's a reoccurring theme in Manchester United. It's not manager specific. They've done shit like this through teams. So it's a club problem, right? But we did good to start off. We capitulated, and we came back. And you know what? We're allowed to have a little bit of luck. I think we're allowed to have a little bit of luck. Why not? You know what? Ferguson was made on a little bit of luck because he didn't get everything right and he didn't do everything right. And sometimes he got things wrong. And you know what helped him out in certain situations? A little bit of luck. A player like Makeda shooting that ball. That wasn't luck. Some random kid coming on there, shooting that ball from there. He never made that goal ever again. He had that throughout his things. So he was lucky. He was lucky. Caleb says he is that player. Wait till his football IQ matures, and we will be seeing the true Garner. If it matures, it might not mature, which is an issue. But he might be sold. I'm gonna be quite honest. He doesn't necessarily fit that position. He's not a person that provides service. I don't necessarily want him to be sold. I am very upset with his selfishness. It really pisses me off because it's hurting the team in a big aspect. And I think it's hurting Rasmus in a way as well. But he is a player with talent, and he really needs to learn that quicker, sooner or later, because I wouldn't be surprised if Ruben sanctions the sale to get somebody that actually plays that position properly as a number 10. I'm not advocating for his sale, but I'm just saying, you know, we were way too complacent at the start of the second half. We should have been pressing a bit harder for the third goal. Well, listen, I mean, Garnacho should have scored the third. We had to put the game away. 2-0. Everybody always has that adage about the game, about 2-0. 2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline. Why? Because you give up one goal and then boom. It always goes the other way. And that's why we needed the third. We should have got the third. The game should have been put to bed because we had the chances to get the third. We didn't get the third. So I think it actually could have gone two ways. I think if we got the third, we would have got changes. And none of this would have happened. But it didn't go that way because the players on the pitch couldn't get over the line. To get over the line, the job was to not concede and lose that position, to lose that winning position, and it was to add to the goal tally, and they couldn't do it. So, Ray says we play against the man. I'm from nothing. We go 4-2 down, and somehow God makes us win 5-4. That's not luck. I mean, it's luck, but again, you're being one-sided. You don't give Ruben Amorim any credit for that. You don't give any credit. I mean, he did make the subs. Whether you liked it, whether it was at the 60th minute or the 90th minute, he made the subs. He put the players on. He made the tactical adjustments at the end, and we won the game. So, he made mistakes, and you can criticize him for the mistakes, but he doesn't get the praise. He doesn't get praise. So we need players to feed the striker. We do need players to feed the striker. We do. How does that go on the manager though? You say a couple things like, how does that go on the manager? We need players to feed the striker, not frustrate the striker. We do. We've been saying that. I've been saying that before Amorim was here. I said that when Erik ten Hag was here. Because they don't feed the striker. They never feed the striker. They haven't fed the striker in 4 or 5 fucking years. But that's Ruben's problem to solve. That's not, Ruben didn't create it. Take the players that are selfish out of the game. Yeah, but he already did this. See, to me, you're arguing a point that I think you're beating a dead horse. He came here and he said, if you don't play for the team, you're not going to play for me. I think right now we're in a position where I actually think if we had players available, like if Mount can give us 90 minutes, I think Mount would start and Garnacho would be on the bench. I really do. And I'm telling you this for sure. But as a manager, sometimes you got to make concessions. We already don't have enough depth in that area. So if you fucking take Garnacho, you need to use Garnacho. You need to use him. You need to use him. You need to use him till the end of the season. And this is what I'm telling you. So you want to blame him because he kept Garnacho on because he's selfish. That's fine. He kept him on for a reason, right? He's obviously not happy with the selfishness. I can tell you that much, and I can tell you for sure that he's gonna talk to Garnacho and he's gonna tell him and yell at him for being so fucking selfish because that's not what he wants in his team. But he kept him on for a reason. It was Amorim who won this game. He never took off Casemiro. Out of all the subs, he brought on Mount, Eriksson, and Kobe, but didn't take off Cas. Yeah, I think he did it in a different way than some people would say that maybe he should have done it. I mean, so it's his fault that we went down 4-2, but it's not his fault that we won the game. It doesn't work that way. It really doesn't work that way. If you're giving him criticism, you got to give him the praise as well. And if you give him the praise, you got to give him the criticism. It doesn't work, but he can't be at fault for us going down 4-2. And then he had nothing to do with the fact that we ended up winning the match. It doesn't work that way. And I agree. I agree with Ray to the fact that, yeah, I don't want selfish players in the team. And I know that Ruben Amorim doesn't want selfish players in the team either. Because that was literally the first statement he ever made as manager. But for one reason or another, he kept him on there. But I don't think he kept him on there because he's like, yes, Garnacho is so selfish. Keep him on. I want the selfishness. He's not advocating for selfishness. He kept him on there for another reason. Because he's looking at the squad as a whole. It's not about one player. So he took off players in different positions. And then he took off Garnacho in the second half. I think he likes Garna too, but what he doesn't like is the selfishness. I know that for a fact because he wants team players. And Ray says, sell Garnacho, too selfish. Well, maybe. But that's up to Ruben. That's up to Ruben Amorim to determine if he is too selfish, if he can't work with him. But, he's a young player. He's a young player. Sometimes you can eliminate that from their game. Like Caleb is saying. You can develop him. Right now, he's very selfish, but unfortunately, whether you like it or not, we don't have many options up there. Rashford's not in the team, Anthony's not in the team, we don't have any other players in that position, Mount can't give you 90 minutes, Kobe can't give us 90 minutes. So, it's Garnacho or bust. I mean, we don't have Xerxes, we lost Xerxes. I think Garnacho would have came off a while ago if we had a couple options today. Caleb says Ruben will develop him, bro. I think he can. I mean, because he's 19, and I think he can develop him. But what I'm saying is, in between that time, you got to manage it. And today, I would have subbed him off at 65, 70th minute at one point. But he made different changes because he went a different way about it. He took off other players. I would have probably kept those players on. But he was successful at the end of the day. And maybe he won't. Maybe he won't. I mean, Ray says I don't see it. Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll just sell him in the summer. But sometimes, I liken it like this. You have an employee at your job. Now, you don't necessarily like this employee. You actually want to replace this employee. But if you fire the employee right now, or you tell the employee right now, you basically make indications to the employee that I'm going to kick you out eventually. You know what that employee is going to do to you? He's going to play like absolute shit. And you know what you can afford is that the employee, you actually still need the employee to do a job for you before the job is over. So right now, he is his employee and he needs Garnacho. Whether he wants Garnacho or not, he needs Garnacho because we don't have options. Beggars can't be choosers. We are at a lack of options. So he can't just discard Garnacho and say, I hate you because you're selfish and get the fuck out of my team. Because we need him to the run in the end of the season. So sometimes you play a little bit of both sides. And you pretend like you're on his side. But when it comes to it, you go, all right, well, job's done now. And I don't want you here anymore. So there's the door. Delo did score. He did. The Delo goal is forgotten now. Yeah, for sure. I mean, Grace isn't here, so she didn't keep it going. So, but Maguire played a great ball, and Delo's touch and finish was great. It was fantastic. It was. I'm just gonna run through the rest of the player ratings. Rasmus Højlund, I give him a 6 because again, I don't think he had a bad game today. I think in terms of holding up the ball, doing the interchangeable passing and plays that he was doing, where he was receiving the ball back to goal, he was quick with the ball, he wasn't losing possession, he wasn't getting dispossessed, like we've seen him in some other games where he can't take 2 touches and he loses the ball. Today wasn't that. Today he held the ball, he did good, and I don't think he should get a lower score because I think today was one of those games where he just didn't get service. And he wasn't given the ball, and there's so many times when I'm watching the match where I'm just like, just pass him the ball, and they don't do it. So, I don't know what you want what you want the guy to do when they don't give him the ball in a certain area. But I mean, Højlund did some unselfish play today. Felt he dipped like most did around the 65th. I mean, dipped, yeah, because the team dipped, but for what he was given on the pitch today, there's nothing that you could do other than what he did, which was he was unselfish. He made some good passes, held the ball up, and that's all he could do because that's what he was given. So I don't think you could give him a lower score. Ray says 7 for me. Team doesn't play for him. Well, that's not a reason to give him a 7. A 7. A 7, he's got to have a good game. Plus, he's got to score, assist, or something. If you play as a striker in United team, you are alone. I mean, yeah, that's been a reoccurring theme. So we got to figure out. Do you see Amorim making use of Sancho and Anthony? No. I think the fact, certainly not. I mean, I don't think the club will allow Sancho to come back. I don't think they will. I think the people up above have determined that that issue that he had with the manager and the way he acts, I don't think they want him at the club. So even if Amorim kind of wants him, I think that's done. I don't think Sancho. I don't think Sancho can come back. Sancho can't come back. The fans won't accept it. He shouldn't come back. So, regardless if Ruben wants him or not, he shouldn't be coming back. And Anthony, I think the fact that he let Anthony go on loan, I think tells you everything. I don't think it matters if Anthony is playing good in La Liga, and I don't think it matters if Rashford is playing good at Villa. I think the fact that he let them go on loan is the statement in itself. It's done and dusted. These players will be sold. They will be out. The only reason why they're on loan is because we couldn't get a permanent deal. So just look at the loans as sales. That's how I view it. Because to let those players go mid-season when technically we could have used them because we didn't get anybody to replace their positions, to me, those are sales. Like Rashford is sold and Anthony is sold. Not officially, but if you're the manager and you let those players go out on loan when you don't even have that many options, that to me is him saying you are not part of my plans and you are no longer going to be here for the future. So I think those things are done and dusted. For sure. Højlund probably did the job he was given. He did. I mean, listen, I watched Sporting when Amorim was there. I watched what UTD'S does. Now, UTD'S scores goals. He scores many goals. He's a prolific striker. But part of the job that UTD'S does very well is what Rasmus was doing today. Coming back, making yourself an outlet. Sometimes he's very deep. But that's one thing that he has to kind of get a better timing on, is when he comes deep and he gets the ball, he has to try and get into that box. It's not an easy task. It's, it's hard. But when I watched Victor UTD'S, he did that exact same job. He would come deep, He would receive the ball. When they counterattack, Gyökeres would be deep. The two wingbacks would be up high. They would be up the pitch. They're doing the counterattack. But what happens is he gives them the ball. Gyökeres makes a straight run down the middle, gets into the box, and or around the box, he gets the ball back and Gyökeres scores. So, but the difference I would say there is as well is those players in Sporting were looking for Gyökeres. They were giving the ball to Gyökeres. They were waiting for Gyökeres. And when Gyökeres got there, they gave it to him. They don't do that for Rasmus. They don't do that for Rasmus. Ray says, you're striker at United. You make the run. You never get the ball. You get frustrated. So what's the problem is the feed is the problem. I mean, it is the problem, but we've been saying that. And nobody here has said that Rasmus is the main problem. We're just saying Rasmus isn't having a good season. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there's many games where Rasmus has a game like today where he doesn't get the service, but there's many games where Rasmus was very poor this season, where he literally couldn't hold the ball for a touch. So, again, it's been a bad season for him. It's not one thing or the other. It's a mixture like it always is with everybody and everything. It's not just one thing. So sometimes throughout the season, there's been matches where Rasmus has actually been shit. And then there's matches where Rasmus is actually, there's nothing for Rasmus to do. So, Lyle says Sancho has the obligation to buy, which is looking likely to be triggered. The bet is working. I think he got an assist today as well, Sancho. So the better he plays for Chelsea, the more they're willing to keep him. So bet is working on a deal for Anthony, so he is basically gone. Yeah, I think Rashford is gone too. I don't think Rashford is coming back. I think the fact that I think whoever he let go on loan in January, I think that's him basically saying, you're gone. It's just the fact that they are loans because we couldn't do permanent deals. So, Betis is not. There's no way you let Betis get another loan deal. No way. No way. No way. Not after the way he's performing. No. You make them pay up. Make them pay up. Luke Shaw, we give a 6. Harry Almas, I give him a 6. Ericsson, I give a 6. Man, I give a 6.5. Kobe's gonna get a 7. Because he came in, although he didn't do much for a good amount of period of time, he did score that wonderful goal that put us back on level terms. So, Mount 6.5 because I think again he made a good cameo off of the bench. Ericsson didn't play much and didn't have much to do, and Almas I think again as well. So the subs I always usually give a 6. Luke Shaw I give him a 6 as well, and Ruben Amorim I give him a 6 because I think there was some moments in the game where maybe he probably could have managed it better. I think he made some choices, didn't go necessarily well, but at the end of the day, he managed to get the team the win, and he managed to get us through. He did make the changes, whether they were late or not. So I think it was a tale of two halves, really. Just kind of like the team. Kind of like the team as a whole. I mean, I think he set us up good. I think the first half was good. I think the tactics were fine in the first half. I think even the tactics for a period of the second half were fine. I personally would have subbed Garnacho and Dorgo at some point earlier than he did. But he got over the line. So, you can't really take it against him because we won the game. So, if we lost the game, then it goes the other way. But that's just the way the pendulum swings, right? So it happens. But man of the match. See you later, Caleb. Yeah, I give Shaw a 6. Man of the match. Best player the whole game. Or we just gonna end up giving it to Maguire for the game-winning goal. I guess we'll give it to Maguire for the game winner, right? He played the whole match. And he got the game-winning goal, so I guess we'll give it to Maguire, man of the match. Why not? So yeah. I think that's that. And let me see if I pick up one or two types of things here. Somebody put up Vidic getting kicked in the head, comparing it to Lenny Euro with that block that he did with his head. So man of the match, sure, for walking off the pitch, says Lions. I mean, maybe. I mean, that is a monumental achievement. Maguire from 0 to hero. Well, yeah. But all you got to do is perform, man. All you got to do is perform. I will say that, at the very least. All you have to do is perform. Anybody that criticizes, like, but that's how you expose the idiots from the real people. Because anybody that walks around and says Maguire is shit. I mean, Maguire hasn't been shit for 2 seasons now. So anybody that says Maguire is shit and I hate Maguire, well, then you just have an agenda against Maguire. You know what I mean? But anybody that had criticism towards Maguire and said that he was shit prior to that, I mean, they weren't wrong. Like, he was shit. You know? So you got to perform. If you perform, you get praised. I mean, it's not that hard. It really, it's not that difficult of a concept. And then the other ones, they just talk shit no matter what. So they'll expose themselves for what they are. Shaw played 45 minutes plus extra time. Well, he is there, but the point is, how long can he last? Which is, I think, what we're trying to do, because, see, I actually think Mason Mount can probably play more minutes than he actually is right now. But I think the plan, because again, listen, we can sit here and we can say, oh, why doesn't he put in Mason Mount and play more minutes? Well, maybe there's a structured plan around Mason Mount, because again, we have to take care of Mason Mount. Maybe their goal is to get Mason Mount to play 45 minutes a match for the rest of the season. Make sure he doesn't get fit so he could at least do that much. Don't get re-injured. Go into the off-season, have him do some more off-season work, and come back stronger for the next season. But if he gets injured from now until then, that plan goes out the fucking window. So there's things that they do behind the scenes that we're not always privy to. Like, why did Maz come off? I think Maz came off because they're worried about his fitness. He plays a lot of minutes. He has some things with injuries. I think they're looking after him. I don't think Ruben took off Maz because he was like, Maz is having a shit game. I don't think I think sometimes changes are made because there's things with the players that they've identified prior to the match, and they're gonna have to make these changes at some point or another. Now, you run into problems when, you have other people on the pitch that they might be having a shit game, and you're like, well, fuck, how do I work this in to the plan that we had pre-planned? Because I have to take off a certain amount of players for a certain amount of reasons, And that's what I try to say. It's not always black and white. Like, I don't believe he took off Rasmus because he said Rasmus is playing like shit. I just think that Rasmus was very tired, and Rasmus was very frustrated, and so he took him off. But I don't think it's a detriment to Rasmus. They took him off. I think the way the team was playing, whether you agree with it or not, Kobe MAINOO came on. Kobe's not a striker, but maybe the thinking behind that was, listen, these guys aren't even playing to the striker the way we need them to play. So why don't we put MAINOO in? He'll be kind of like a false nine. And we'll play strikerless. Maybe that's why he did it. So BT Sixorius says Hoyland to get benched, striker need. Well, listen, regardless if you bench or start Rasmus, that's not really the point, because I think that leads to a whole nother argument that you don't even need to get to as of yet. I don't even want to talk about that aspect, because I just think in general, we need another striker regardless. Whether if Rasmus was scoring 30 goals a season and he was getting all the service, I would still tell you that we need another striker, because we don't have the depth. And let's say Rasmus had 25 goals this season. What happens when Rasmus gets injured? Now, he hasn't, but what happens if Rasmus had 22 goals this season and 5 weeks ago Rasmus Hoyland got injured? What do? We don't have another striker. Okay, you have Xerxes. Well, guess what happened to Xerxes? He got injured. And he's not really... I don't even think Ruben really wants to play him striker. I think he wants him as a number 10. So, regardless of whatever Rasmus is doing, the team and the squad need another striker regardless. They need to balance the load. They need to balance the pressure of the striker position. And maybe people will see a little bit as well that, it's not just Rasmus. People tend to forget. We used to complain that the striker position is dead. Now everybody just says it's Rasmus Hoyland's fault. And I don't agree with that. I really don't. Because if the striker position's dead, then how can it be the striker's fault? And that's why I don't really want to get into this, because we just need a second striker for the depth. Now, I will say this, Rasmus hasn't had a great season for one reason or another. It's gone both ways. There's been matches he's played very poor. There's matches where I think the team doesn't play to him. It goes both ways, which has accumulated in a very bad season for him. Not his fault, whatever. But the point is, that's a thing that needs to be figured out. I think that gets sorted out by adding a better number 10, getting maybe a better another wing back or so, somewhere, maybe another midfielder, and another striker to bear in the load, because he needs somebody there to be his partner in crime. Yeah, they compete for a starting spot, but there's a chemistry where they learn off each other, and they balance each other. You know what I mean? One striker struggles, the other striker comes in for relief. He catches a little bit of form, he takes it over while the other player sorts his shit out. And we're missing that dynamic. We don't have that. So apparently Maguire and Victor Lindelof both had to leave Old Trafford at halftime tonight for urgent family issues. So that's actually why Maguire came off. So there you go. See, this is the things that this is the things that I'm saying. I mean, so Maguire wasn't a planned he wasn't a planned Maz wasn't a planned substitution. He wasn't going to sub Maz off. He was probably going to put Shaw maybe at left back for Dorgu, but Maz had to leave the stadium, and Lindelof had to leave the stadium at halftime for urgent family issues. I don't know what those urgent issues is, but that's 2 players. So we lost those 2 options at halftime right off the bat, and this is what I'm trying to say. It's not black and white. Like, you might not like the decision he's made. I'd like to know why, and you can ask him. But I'm sure it's not because he doesn't know that, the player is playing like shit. It just doesn't make sense. No manager in the world will keep a player on the pitch that plays like shit. Both matters apparently are independent of each other, and the players are both fine. So that's interesting. I didn't know that. I'm just looking to see if we have any other news before I get off, because it is late and I gotta go do shit. I mean, it's late for me. It's late for you guys. So you guys should be sleeping. I don't know how well you're gonna sleep because you're probably too excited to sleep, but oh, did anybody catch that, by the way? Kobe MAINOO did the Xerxes celebration. Did anybody catch that when he scored? He did Xerxes celebration. So that was a good omen from Kobe. Um, I missed that. I just saw a picture of it right now, Lyle. I didn't there was pandemonium going on in front of me, so I want to see if I could grab a Ruben quote. I want to see if they asked him. Mareem on what he said to the players at halftime of extra time. He said it was to change the positions and to try to be really clear about the position of Harry Maguire, put Casemiro and Maguire near the goal, Mason Mount to cross the balls, try and explain that we need one goal and everything can change. That's what he told them at halftime at extra time. Amarim on using Harry Maguire as the target man. In the opposite box, he's a striker, not a defender. He knows how to behave in that space. I mean, that's not the first time he's done that. So, he's done it a couple times already. This time it's paid off. So, that's not something new. Um, but yeah, there's a couple more quotes. I'm just reading through quotes, so I apologize if it's like a little bit quiet or whatever, or it's kind of died down. But I'm just trying to see, because I really would ask him about the changes, and what he felt like, what happened with the changes. So said, I when I put Maguire up front, I just see a guy in the box and not a defender. Is he good in the box or not? That's it. He knows how to behave in the box. That is true, though. I mean, when you view it in that sort of way, right? When you view Maguire as just a guy that you stick in the box, when we do the corners or the crosses, they're always looking for him, right? He does sort of become this target man, but he's a center back and he's a defender on the pitch, but like when he's in the box, he does become the target man, considering that like the striker is not really a target man. I mean, I'm I'm gonna be fair. Rasmus isn't great in the air, not like Maguire is. Maguire is much taller than him. He's better at a header of a ball, so he does become sort of this target man. So, um, Kobe Mainu has had positive talks regarding his contract in recent weeks. Another meeting with Omar and Co to take place next week. Yeah, I think he'll sign. I think he'll sign. I don't think that's a problem. I think it's being dragged out, but no problem at all. Um, no problem at all. Really late. Reem said, we lack a lot of team characteristics. When we play against European teams, we do better, but in the Premier League, we suffer a lot. I think Axe sort of alluded something like that, but he said it was more of the tactics. Again, I won't say it's necessarily the tactics. I think it's like Ruben says, when he says characteristics, he means the characteristics of the squad, of the team. Um, And I think that's certainly true, because that's why we've been doing well in Europe, but we have been getting destroyed in the Prem. Um, so we need to fix up the squad, so that we can perform in both Europe and Premier League. And you know, he's taken a little bit of the criticism on himself as well, saying we can be good in European matches, but the league reflects the team and the coach, and we are not up to it. Well, they haven't been up to it. I put it on him to figure that out for next season. That's his job, and if he doesn't, then he fails. But he still gets the opportunity to prove if he can do it or not. So, um, Mareem said, "I think of the people who left the stadium at 4-2. I mean, there probably were a couple couple good amount of people that left the stadium, but that's why they tell you never to leave the stadium. Um, I'm sure those people are probably pissed at themselves anyway. They're probably more mad at United anyway. They're probably still cursing United. They left the stadium cursing United, and they were like, and then and they missed the comeback, and they're probably still cursing United. Mareem said Shaw was supposed to play 30 minutes. Then Maz had a problem, and Lindelof had a personal problem and had to leave. He said MAINOO is very good in small spaces and has the ability to score this kind of goal. I think that's kind of an indication telling you that at some point that I think he is going to probably push MAINOO up. He's probably going to push MAINOO up in a more attacking role. Probably after this season, I guess. I mean, we need to get a couple more pieces to the puzzle. So, I think you can only do so much with what we have. But when he says things like that, that makes me indicate that he wants to play him as a 10, I think, as well. Because that's operating as the 10 that's, you know, even as the false 9. You're operating in small spaces. So, and United are the first team in history to score 2 goals in the 120th minute of a European match. So, made that as history as well. And yeah, that was pretty much it for that. So, I don't know if we're still getting any. Oh yeah, yeah. I think that's pretty much it. It was a very good show today. We gave Harry Maguire man of the match, and yeah, I think it was a very good discussion. And it's very late, and I gotta go do things, and I'm probably not gonna be able to do them now because the game went on far longer than it was supposed to do. And yeah, so um, very very good show. I don't know why my face looks so red, Jesus. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's why somebody asked me if I was drunk. I don't know what that is. Um, but yeah, it was a very good show. Shout out to all of you, Lions, Lyle, Ray, even VT. Caleb was in here, even some of the newer guys that were in here before as well. Shout out to all of you. Rajat was in here, and Axe Lord, of course. We can't forget Axe, because he'll give us a rant about how I forgot him. Axfa was in here earlier. Shout out to Axfa. Shout out to Man Lutata. Good hearing from them. Thank you to everybody that smashed the like button. We greatly appreciate it. And if you're new and you subscribe, thank you as well. Make sure you turn on the you hit the notification bell icon so you go live. You get the notifications when we go live. We will be live tomorrow. We're gonna do a live show tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bit of a Q&A, bit of a kind of a freestyle, a little bit of news, not too much news, but a little bit of news, and we'll kind of just general United talk, and whatever the chat wants to talk about, the chat will pick the conversation for tomorrow. I will not dictate the conversation. The chat will do that, and then we'll be off for Saturday. and we'll be back Sunday for the Premier League match after the match. So we'll catch you all then. Everybody enjoy the rest of your nights. Be good. I don't know if you're gonna go rewatch the game. Um, it's 8 p.m. in New York right now, so I was supposed to go work out. I was supposed to eat dinner. I haven't done either one of these things. So while you guys are still up and it's very late for you guys, it's kind of late for me too. I gotta go. I gotta go work out. It's gonna take me an hour and a half. I'm not gonna eat dinner till like 9:30 now. So, but you know, this things happen. Things happen. I wasn't expecting extra time. And I, you know, and it was a very fantastic show, so I kept it rolling. I kept it rolling. So, Laz is gonna definitely watch the highlights. Apparently, the MUTV commentary went insane. Yeah, I think lots of people are rewatching the matches. I'm seeing a lot of people on social media, pouring themselves a glass of red wine and already rewatching the match. So I might do that later tonight. But I gotta go take care of some things first. So. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Make sure you're there for the show. I want to see you guys there. Fantastic support today. Very good show. We got the views up. I think we got the likes up. I don't really know. I can't see. But yeah, yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it, and yeah, hopefully we see you all there. Rio and Savage went crazy. Yeah, I bet they did. I wonder what Gary was doing. I wonder what Gary Neville was doing in that time, you know? Where was he? Yeah, I could imagine. I mean, it was insane. I was screaming at the TV as well. I think everybody was screaming at the TV. So yeah, it was good stuff. Good day. Listen, you got to take it. You got to take it when it comes. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't perfect. It never is, really. And you know, United never do it the easy way, right? I'm gonna watch it on MUTV probably. I have the channel. It wasn't easy. We hit 14 likes, so that's fantastic. We smashed it today. We could have got more, but you know, 14 is the most we've gotten in quite a while. So I'm gonna take that as well. It's a W. Dude, I accidentally kicked my fan heater across the room. I mean, hey, it happens. It happens. But as long as the TV is still intact, as long as the TV is still intact, you know, forget the heater. You know, winter's almost over. Emotionally, one of the best games I've seen. Listen, it's one of our best comebacks. Ever. Obviously, we've had some good ones, but you know, the importance of this and in the way we did it. To have the lead and go down. Most of our comebacks is, you know, we're down from the start and we come back and win. To have the lead, lose the lead, and then come back and score those goals in the amount of time that we did was fantastic. So, Lara said, yeah, I watched it on my laptop and that needs full protection. Yeah, your whole life is on that. You can't be breaking that thing. Your whole life is on that. You watch the games there, your work is on there. You can't be breaking that. You could break the TV, I guess, because you'll just use the laptop, right? So yeah, we can't have that. So yeah, 8 p.m. New York time for sure. So yeah, we're gonna get out of here. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Make sure you tune in. Chat runs the show tomorrow. Somebody else just liked, so shout out to you. 15 likes for today's show. Fantastic. Ran it up. Positive. See what happens when positive things happen. Positive things follow. So yeah, we'll catch you tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you're around. Make sure you're ready to go. Yeah, on to MAINOO TV. Yeah, I'll let you guys rewatch that and relive it. Be good. I'm gonna go. Yeah, remember tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll catch you then. All right. Be good. Have a good night, guys. Stay good and have a good